Am I live? Yeah. Does I sound okay? Hello? Hello, hello, hello? I think so. Pro streamer. Pro streamer. Alright. You all hear and see me? Let me mute my music real quick just so I can test this and listen to this. Yeah, okay. Pro streamer. Okay. Just checking. Cool. Welcome everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope you're all doing good. Live streaming's funny, man. Okay, so first couple things, like we're just gonna make a low poly kind of scene, just like a nice, I don't know if I want it to be really angular low poly or if it's gonna be kind of that smooth, like have you seen those Kroger ads, like that kind of low poly smooth clay kind of look. I don't know, we'll see, it's somewhere between there. But the one reason I wanted to stream today is because I was talking to Michael in the Discord about that. Also, quick shout out to Eric and Daniel, the YouTube members. You guys are getting a shout out. If you guys want to be members, you can join. Click that join button down there. It supports me. There's different tiers, but you also can do the same thing through Patreon if that's easier through you. And I'm working on some stuff maybe that might be just straight through my website. We'll see. But right now you've got those options. So, if you feel like supporting the channel, if you like what you see, it would mean a lot. But anyway. So what I want to do is I wanted to stream because I was talking to Michael in the Discord about just like struggling through barriers and stuff like that. And I really want to teach, how the mental health side of becoming a 3D artist, as well as the technical side of doing the things. And it's really tough to do that. And a lot of people don't talk about it and stuff. And like, if you ever get on, there's not really a great community out there for 3D artists and stuff, like where you can share it. Everybody's like, everything is kind of social media based. There's this based, and it's all very comparison based. Like you have this render versus this render versus that render. You've got my style versus your style, and my NFT versus your NFT. Like everything's very competitive, and it's not a very cooperative thing. And it's kind of a weird thing, especially for artists. And it's really kind of unique a little bit to 3D artists, because like I feel like videographers and stuff have styles and looks, but they're all kind of like work together through stuff. It doesn't feel like a competition, but for some reason for 3D artists it always kind of feels like that. It's like Redshift versus Octane versus Corona versus V-Ray, all that stuff. And it can be a struggle, and learning 3D software can be like super difficult and overwhelming because there's like so much you can learn and want to learn, and it's just like, I'm never going to learn all this, and you just quit before you start. Or if you're like me, you're afraid that if you don't do it 100% correct and make it perfect, then you failed. And that's a real big thing I struggle with. Yo, hey everybody. Lighting, yeah, and lighting, probably lightning. This stream's gonna be huge. Thanks, Soin. Yeah, so basically, like, and I was talking to someone while I was playing New World yesterday on Twitch, about just imposter syndrome and the struggle and everything. And so, I was telling Michael, as I loop back to the beginning of this story, I want to help teach people how to push through barriers. And one thing I really struggle with is that I'll have like 50,000 ideas and concepts that I won't release because I don't think it's perfect. And I'll find some reason or something about it that I don't like, that I'll say, well, I'll fix that later. And I'll just put stuff off forever, and I'll procrastinate it. Like this cloud tutorial, it's been done for like a week and a half. I have literally just been tweaking it. And I finally gave it purpose to tweak it and decided to save them and sell them. But before that, like, I just didn't want to release it yet because I was afraid someone's not going to like it. And so I wanted to talk about that. Hey, Butch, and struggling with that. And like, what better, if I'm going to teach people how to push through barriers, I've got to push through barriers. Because I was like, I would love to do a live stream of just like creating a low poly scene, but there's not like a high demand to do low poly stuff or anything, but it doesn't freaking matter. And like, I should just do it because I want to do it, and I'm sure somebody will learn something from it. And if not, that's okay. Hopefully you just have fun. And I really want to teach, the reason you get into 3D for a lot of people, and me especially, is like the idea of creating something out of nothing, like playing with Play-Doh, Legos, whatever. Like you have tools and you can just create something, and like that's fun. It's not supposed to be tedious and a job and all this stuff. Like obviously you need to do things to make money, but when you start, and I've done this, 100% done this, I've wrapped up my identity and who I am and what I'm supposed to do, all of this stuff wrapped up in my work. And I think my value as a person, as a 3D artist, is completely dependent on what I produce. And like, and that's what the industry tells you. Like, we want to see your reels. Like, that's going to define whether we hire you or not, all this stuff. Your worth to us is based on your work. And it's all just backwards. I had to like censor myself there for a second, but it's just backwards and it's stupid. And like, companies and stuff should, you know, look at your work, obviously, but they should get to know you as a person, because that's who you're working with. You're not working with the work, you're working with the person. And that's how every other job is. So why is it weird for us? But anyway, it's like struggling with that and figuring out all this stuff, all that to say that I wasn't going to stream today. I was like, well, you know what? I'm not going to do that because it's not going to be successful. So I'm just not going to do it. But I was like, no, I need to do it because I just should. And it's okay if it fails in my eyes, because it won't really fail. And I know that. I'm just being stupid. And then it was going to be at 2 o'clock, and then I had a meeting scheduled, and I was like, well, I'll just scrap it anyway. And I found some reason to ignore it. And I was like, no, you know what? I'm going to push it to 12, even though that means nobody has heads up anyway about it. And there's like no heads up about it. And I'm like, you know what? That's fine. That's just life. Like, I got to push through sometimes and just do. And I'm just going to have fun building this low poly scene with you guys. And we're just going to make some stuff for fun. We may cover stuff you want to learn, may not. I don't know, but we're just going to make some stuff. But I just wanted to kind of mention that struggle and all that. And it's like, it's just all the time. It really is. Procrastination's a big blockage. Yeah, I procrastinate because I, like I said, like I'll find some reason why I'm procrastinating, and I'll tell myself that it's valid. And half the time it's not. Like, anybody else will look at it and be like, those are good, you're good, be done with it, move on. But like, keep tweaking and tweaking, because that means as long as I'm still tweaking it, I haven't failed yet. And that's what I'm afraid of, is failing. And it's like a whole thing with depression and all this stuff, and I've got therapy and on stuff like medicine and stuff now to help with that. Like, that's a whole another thing on top of that. But with work and everything, it's real, and the pressure's real, and the comparison and the imposter syndrome. And everybody deals with it. Some people like to talk about it and stuff, but you know, it's just always good to hear it and talk to other people, because it's like, for me especially, like my background, and we will do some 3D modeling, I promise, we'll get into it, but like my background is like, I live in Kentucky, right? There's not a lot of 3D artist jobs here. I had one of the few ones. They actually created it for me at a video production company because they liked my stuff, and when I started learning. And you know, it's weird to be in an industry where it's so different, and to be sort of isolated and alone, because everybody, it seems like from the outside looking in, and you look at Reddit and Instagram, all these people have everything figured out, and everything's like cool and looks good, and these huge studios are making these awesome things, and I'm just like, I can make a ball like roll, that's cool, right? Yeah, but so you start just like doubting yourself with all this crap, and you see all this amazing stuff, but really it's like, it's just have fun with it. And then you see people that make stuff that you look at it and you're like, how do they have more followers than me? Like, well, I could make that in 5 minutes. And it's just I struggle real bad with comparing myself to other people and stuff, and it's real easy in our industry, I feel like, and if anybody feels the same way, I'm sure somebody out there does. But it's just like, I just wanted to address it and talk about it and say, you know, it's normal and it's okay, and you're not failing like me. I'm not failing. Everything is going to be fine, and just kind of remember why you're doing what you're doing, and try to hit like a reset button on why you're trying to learn what you're trying to learn, and not make it your 3D job or aspect of your job a to-do list kind of thing where you need to do it, and it becomes a chore when you're starting to learn it. Like, oh, I need to do this class. Oh, I need to do this. And it starts like irking in the back of your mind that like, you know you need to be doing it, but you feel guilty that you're not. Like it's kind of at that point, it's kind of taken a shift from being fun and being like a task or a job, and like it changes the way you look at it, and you really have to be conscious of that and stuff. And it's really weird, and like you just have to kind of reset it, like I said, and just kind of focus on why you want to build stuff. Like, why do I want to do a fall scene? Because I want to make one. And that's it, and that's good enough, right? And it's fine. Okay, let's get started. Enough of that nonsense from this windy man. Windy speech? I don't know. All right, look at these clouds. I keep tweaking them. This is like version 50 of these clouds and this cool island. Super easy. We'll show how to make it here in a bit, but you know, not now. But we'll just take a look at some different camera angles and crap. But you can see they're just like really cool volumetric clouds. This is coming up soon. We'll go into them. We'll talk about how to create the material and all that stuff. But pretty cool island. I will go over the water in the island. I was really happy with the way this scene turned out. These are actually just straight from the asset browser, which look pretty cool. But yeah, clouds are cool. Everything's cool. Procedural, easy to change, all this stuff. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to create a fun low poly scene. So I want to show kind of the process and not do a quick chop. This is how you do it, and kind of show like when I make stuff and I'm like, oh, that's not right, and delete and tweak and figure out problem solving, because that's like 90% of 3D. It's like just figuring out what the heck you just did wrong or how to do what you want to do. So let's go ahead and get started. So ideally I want to have like a sort of a forest, maybe like a road going through a forest with like a wood picket fence kind of thing, I think, and maybe some pumpkins and some leaves, like just kind of a fall theme. So let's go ahead and just start with the ground. So we'll do a landscape, and we're just gonna stretch it out pretty wide, pretty big, like that. We'll make it a little more elevated. Okay, and we'll switch to our display view. And at any time, you guys, I still got the chat up. Looks like that overhead scene of Neverland. Oh, Peter, it is you. Rufio. Looks weird, man. Okay, so let's go to our overhead view here. And the first thing we're gonna do is we are going to just right click this. No, we're going to take this and go over to here and click and hold and do polygon reduction and hold Alt. And that's gonna put it on there. So you can see how that changed of all of our display lines, and now they're all triangles. A lot of times you're like, oh, everything's supposed to be quads. Well, low poly look is kind of triangles. So we've reduced the polygon count, and we're going to reduce it even more. We're going to say like 97%. Okay, that's pretty good. And so what we're going to do on top of this, we're going to hit C and just, actually, before we do that, actually, no, that's fine. This is how I do my tutorials, and I cut out all this crap. Connect and delete, because we don't want to edit it. It's totally fine. This is just the ground. We're going to add a displacement on this. And we'll do shading. We'll grab a noise. And we just want to distort it just like a little bit. Bring it down a bit. Increase the amount in the object here. Yeah, just like that. All right, so now to make it a low poly look, first we'll put a texture on this. Normally I won't texture things till later, but we're just gonna do a basic texture. And we're gonna go ahead and just take the roughness of this. I hate this, by the way. I hate the way that they made this pop up and I have to go down here in the right. I thought I could get used to it. I can't. I hate it. What's up, Eric? Hey. All right, so we're lowering this down. We're gonna go ahead and just make it like sort of a orangish fall ground, something like that. We'll tweak those later. All right, we'll throw that on there. It's on there, good. So if you look at it right now, we'll go ahead and add just an infinite light to be our sun. Bring that up, and the infinite light is always pointing towards the Z. In case you didn't know that, it's very hard to tell where the heck it's looking. Or is it not? It is, right? Yeah, the area light needs some work. So look at this. Is it not towards the Z? It's on the X? No. Am I being stupid? Oh. What the hell? Okay, let's rotate it on the world axis, I guess, is the easiest thing to do. Alright, we'll rotate that on the world axis. So we kind of have this weird blah landscape. We'll up our light here. There we go. And it doesn't look very low poly at all. We have these polygons and stuff, but our scene looks kind of weird. And that's because we still have the Fong tag, this little guy right here. So we're going to delete that. Now all of a sudden we have a nice low poly look with the ground catching these reflections and stuff to work on. So that's kind of the key to that low poly look. And if you ever want to bring it back, you can just right click and then type in Fong with a PH and bring that back if you decide you don't like that look, and we can go back and change the ground or whatever. Okay, so there's our ground. Let's go ahead and make some trees that are low poly, and we'll put them across our ground. So let's go ahead and, what do I want to do? A tree. We'll do a cylinder, and we'll isolate this with this button right here and go through that. We'll scroll down, go up, and well, let's say 500. We'll lift it up off the ground to 50 so it's on the ground. But I want the anchor point to be at the bottom. So let's change that. Anchor point will go to, I forget where it is. It's always in the weirdest things. Tools, axis center, align Y all the way down. No? Do I have to just use snapping? I swear there's a way to do it with this thing. Am I just wrong? 2 selected points. Oh, I can't do that. I just have to edit it. Alright, don't do that. Just grab your move tool. Turn snapping on, which is S. This little magnet up here. Snap. We want to snap to the grid. Or the guides, I mean, not guides, grid. Yeah, grid point lines. Okay, just points. And we'll grab this and, does that have to be editable? Is that the issue? Okay, see? You know, you learn something new every day. It has to be editable, right? Edit, now I can do it, okay. So we'll make it first, then we'll move the thing. Okay, anyway. Object, rotate segments, let's do like 6 or 5. Let's do 6, like a hexagon would be nice. It's a good low poly look. We'll delete the Fong tag off of this as well. Those segments are fine because it's going to be low poly. Now we can edit it. Now we can grab this and move it down to the bottom. Now I want to see, will this work now? Now I can't even do anything. Yeah, that did work. How about that? How about that, chat? All right, so yes, you can move it to the bottom of your thing by going in here after you have it editable and changing the axis to the -100Y. And that is going to put it right on the bottom for us, which is important because we're going to use that later on. Okay, so we can build the top of this separately. We could model it out from the top of this and, you know, grab these polygons and turn snapping off. We could grab these and pull them out and stuff and start just tweaking them if you wanted to. But I like to just kind of work in a, you know, we could just start holding control and shift and moving all that. But let's just build it separately and then mush it all together because that's kind of how I like it to work. So now we'll make the tree top, which we'll do out of spheres. Bring our sphere up here, hit T, scale it up, make it big. We can do tetrahedron. Do I even want to do that? Do I just want to do... Gee, it's all, you know... Let's do an icosphere, but then let's do the same thing where we put a little low poly thing on it. I think that'll look nice. Alt. Yeah, look at that beautiful detail. Okay, and so we'll probably put some more segments in there, and then, well, not that many though. Yeah, like that. Okay, that looks good. And we can copy, paste, Control C, Control V, and we'll just take this polygon reduction and I wonder if we can change we'll just rotate it around. Rotate it around, move it down here, scale it down a bit. Yep. Like add it like there. And we're just gonna kind of build like this like Mario style thing. Copy and paste, control, click and drag to move that around. And if I say anything or like you want to know how I did, there's a fly right here, did something like that, let me know. We'll kind of keep them low. We'll put 1 up top a little bit. Oops. Just let me know in the chat. You guys hear me okay? Is the music too loud or anything? Is everything good? Control click drag. Like that. Yeah, that looks like a tree. It's pretty big. It's all pretty big for that. Do I want to just scale my cylinder up though? No. I'll scale it up this way though. I'll make it fatter. Yeah, there we go. Chonky. Thanks, Michael. All right, cool. So we've got this tree. This is looking pretty good and low poly. Let's get a tree material here. We'll copy this one over. We'll tweak these in a minute, but we'll go ahead and just make a nice sort of warm red pastel. Bloop, throw it on there. All of these. Could have done that quicker, but that's fine. And once again, all these Fong tags need to be deleted. And we'll take a look at this real quick. You'll see we have this nice low poly tree, which looks funky right now because we have no ground or GI or anything going on. But that's okay. So one thing I want to do is I want to kind of bend the trunk and twist it just a little bit so it's not just straight up. So we're going to grab our trunk here and we'll add displacement to it really quick. Hold shift and select that. Go to shading, click the thing, go to noise, and there we go. Just a little distortion on that. We can scale it up a bit. Go back to the object and scale up the height. We just want it to not be perfectly even. And then maybe even add a twist onto this. Twist or bulge might be nice. Fit to parent. And then strength. Just like suck it in a little bit. Yeah. That's a nice kind of tree look because it's like tree trunks. Cool, cool, cool. You can hear me. Good. I'm glad. All right, cool. So we've got this tree trunk going into our tree. We like the way this is looking. We'll go ahead and create a tree trunk skin here. We'll just copy and paste by control click dragging. We'll just make this one like a slightly darker, a little more orange. Yeah, something like that. Okay, and we'll throw that on there. And now this all right here is our object. So we're gonna right click and go to group, and we'll call that tree 1. And we'll just kind of have that as the default tree to start with, and then we'll start making some variations. Actually, let's just do that now. Copy paste. And then for these, what we're gonna do is we're just going to, and see what happens is it freaking makes a copy of your material too, even though it's the same material. What's up, Dustin? I'm your spirit animal. My spirit animal, I think, would be a lemur. They crack me up. They just like jump out. Or a quokka. I don't know what a quokka is. They're the ones that like smile at everything. They're pretty funny. All right, so it made a copy of everything, which is really annoying. So we're gonna click and hold this shader and hold Alt and just click and drag it over top. And again with this one as well. And that's just gonna replace it with that one. So anywhere that there was that material is going to say now be this material. So if you ever have that way you don't have to deal with like, that way we can still just change one attribute on one material and it'll change across all our trees. Like your room, make some room tour. Well, it's not even set up yet. I gotta get it all set up. We just moved like 2 months ago, which sounds like a long time now. I should probably have it set up, but you know, what are you gonna say? I've got my Oculus over there and my electric skateboard that I just got. Guys, I used to longboard all the time, and the electric skateboard is like as close to getting a hoverboard as you can get. I can go uphill. It's amazing. All right, so what we want to do is we want to create a different variation of these colors. So we'll come in here and we'll make one a little more yellow. And we could go through a color palette picker, all this stuff if we want, but I'm just gonna wing it. Do a little that. We'll throw that across all of these. Holding control. Just don't have to. Yeah, there we go. And the trunk's probably good, but we'll just make a slight variation of the trunk as well. And we'll just shift it just a tiny bit so it's slightly different. Okay, so now we have 2 trees. Let's go ahead and create one more tree. And should label these. Now I don't know which one is the lighter one. It's like so similar. I don't even care. Okay. This one will make red. So it's like fall, you know? So we'll go with kind of a reddish color. That's pretty good. And we'll throw that on all these trees. We'll leave the trunk the same because I'm caring too much about that. That looks good mix, but we'll see. What am I missing? It's just not updating. Am I crazy? It's just not updating. It's just the other tree coming, sticking through it. So they're all in the same spot. Gotcha. Electric skateboard from which company? J King. Okay, so now that we've grouped all this crap, our null has moved, and all the whole setting our null in the right spot on the bottom is all gone to hell. We're gonna come in here to the cylinder, and we're just gonna change the noise seed so that every single one of our trunks aren't exactly the same. It's not gonna change it that much. We'll just change it on one of them. Now we have a little variation, and we're gonna come in here to tree 2, and we're just gonna shift some things around. We're just gonna put them some slightly different places so that our trees aren't exactly all the same. And we can always isolate one at a time. Shift click, there we go. So we can kind of rotate them around. I like the way these look though, so I don't want to tweak them up too much. And let's get this back a bit, scale it maybe. Yeah. So we're just gonna kind of create some variation between our trees, so they're not all obviously identical copies of each other, because they won't be. So now this one, we'll look at that one, and we'll scale this side up and push it in, and smooth this like down, maybe pull it forward, front. Not the biggest fan of the way that tree looks. Like that? Yeah, that's good. Okay, so now we have 3 trees. Tree 1, 1.1, and tree 3. So now what we can do is, if we want to, we can just go ahead and right click this and say connect objects. And so there's a difference between connect objects, and delete. So connect objects will connect them all together and form an object for you, like this, and leave the original, which is what we want, because this way it's kind of a non-destructive way. And you can hold Alt and just click and hold through all these, in case you didn't know, and that will just select both dots at the same time, and you can just click and drag, in case you're going through and clicking each of these. So you can just turn those off. So if we decide we don't like a tree, we can just, have I thought about creating a Discord server? Yes, I have a Discord server. You should hop in. Should be in the link in the description below, actually. I think I put it in the info. I'm not sure. It's definitely on my website. I added it to the website today. Okay, so now we have tree 1, and now what we need to do with this tree, if we isolate this, we have this tree. Let's go ahead and do the whole thing with our, change the access point again, access to center, 0, execute. There we go. Now we have that at the bottom, perfect. And we're gonna rinse and repeat this process. So connect objects, hide all these. You can actually, what is it, shift alt click? Yeah, it goes straight to red. There we go. And we'll go ahead and go tools, access center, execute. Okay. Tree, again, right click, connect objects, shift alt, click drag. There we go. And tools, axis center, execute. Okay, so now we have 3 trees. Thanks, Zoe. Did the link work? I don't know. We'll see. So now we have these trees, and they're all centered right in the middle. And we'll go back and in our view, and we have our scene here. And you can tell our scene is like really small. Our landscape's very tiny. So let's go ahead and let's just either scale up our landscape and or scale down our trees. I'm gonna scale up the landscape because I feel like doing that. Nothing is physically accurate in this, so it doesn't really matter. Like, we can do whatever we want. Not that big. That's too big. like that. Yeah. So what we can do is let's get these arranged here in a way that we have our 3 trees right here. And we can just take this tool right here called the scatter pin. And it brings up these options of a radius and object spacing and splats. And what we can do is we can have these 3 trees selected and click the scatter pin. And we have the option of like having a count, we have the rotation difference and stuff like that. So what we'll do is I'll just start drawing on this if it'll let me. Let me change this to current state to object and get rid of that. Okay, now pin tool, scatter pin. I'm going to draw strokes on here and add clones from selection, align to object. Why does my radius seem... I don't have like an indicator. Oh, is my scene huge? Okay, maybe I should have scaled it down. There it is, okay. Now why the heck isn't it working? See, this is what I wanted to show in the live stream. It's like, this should just go on top of this. Should just draw on this. It's literally how I made that island. I just drew on it. Is it because it's below the surface, maybe? Let's do that. Let's scale it. Give us a little more height, I guess. Let's try with 1. What am I doing, guys? It's supposed to... Does this happen to anybody else? I should have saved. This is lesson number 1. I might have to have my landscape selected, but I'm pretty sure I have to have my trees selected so that I know to draw that. If I have my landscape selected, it should draw my landscape. Maybe my scene's just too big. How big is a cube right now? A little bitty. Scale everything down. I think I had everything all jacked up. Okay. It's not huge though. It's fine. All right. I literally did this for this island. Like, it's literally what I did. I scattered and just drew right on there. What's the object properties? Now it's gonna work or no? What? This is great. We all are learning a lot. Okay, so let's have this selected. Click the scatter pin. Add a small radius. Lower the count. Maybe my radius isn't big enough. 0 object spacing. 800. So here's what I do when I get to this point. I go new project. I take a cube. I click the scatter pin tool. I say okay. And I'm like, okay, what's the difference between what I just did and what I'm doing? I had an object. I clicked. It's got to be my scales jacked up. I wanted to ask. Thank you for answering my questions. Been following your channel for a long time. Thanks. You want? I want you to refute this opinion. Oh yeah, no, you can definitely do Cinema 4D. I almost took a job at a place that just did all interior stuff with Cinema 4D. You can definitely do it. 3ds Max just has some tools and stuff for it that are nice, but you can 100% do it in 3D Cinema 4D just as easy. This is working. This is what I want to do here. What? What? I guess it just was bugging out. Cinema 4D. Bug? No. Alright, so let's select all 3 trees. Go to the scatter pin. Increase the radius. Put some object spacing in there. And now we can just kind of click and drag around. And we can make different variations. And the cool thing is once we have it created, we can click this. Sorry. Real quick. So what's cool is like you can control the rotation and all that stuff. Yeah, it just worked like out of nowhere. And so you can come in here and go back to the scatter tool even after you've drawn it once, and you can come down here and start tweaking the rotation angle. So let's tweak this to like 8. I think that's good. Just so they're all kind of rotating around. We'll do 360 on the Y so they can all be all kinds of orientations. And then just a little bit, 6 maybe in that. And then we'll scale these down so that the minimum scale is like 50. Maybe not 50, maybe like 60. Yeah, 66. And so now we have this nice variation of all of our stuff, and it's going to be completely random. Yes, the scatter pin recognizes the plane. It should, but I have it right now set. Is this what's doing that? No. Align to the object. Scatter pin. Object selection. Black. There's a way to fix this, and I did it. Stroke. So you can also offset the Y and stuff. I think it's possibly because of the ground. So let's go ahead and just undo that. We'll keep all those settings in our scatter pin tool. We're going to take our landscape and we're going to bring it up above the ground plane real quick. Just like that. Just to make sure that we didn't accidentally draw on the ground plane. Shift click and hold. Scatter pin. We can make our radius a little bigger. Turn our sizing down a little bit different. Maybe more so. Or up, I guess. Doesn't make sense. Oh, this is the count. Object spacing. We can tighten those in. And increase the count. And make a pretty dense little forest here. And just keep going. And it's all going to be procedural. Let's go ahead and just... Let's not undo all that. Scatter pin. I liked what I was doing there. The high count. I just want to draw like that. Oh my god. I undid my selection here. Scatter pin. Yeah, I just wanted to make sure that I had like a road here in the middle. Like that. So this way I can just come in here and draw. Click and hold. Draw. And that should all be on the ground. Yeah, it's on our plane. Which is exactly what we want. So we've instantly made a huge forest without, you know, having to just model a couple trees. Come in here and make it a little tighter. Yeah, maybe you'll do a river. A river might be nice. That's right, it is because of the Minecraft reference. Look, don't hate on Minecraft. It's so good. Alright, so now we can take a look at our scene. Now obviously we have a much nicer little view here, and we'll start cleaning this up, and by the end of it, it's gonna look cute. Okay, so we've got that going. Let's do some like little leaves and stuff. Let's model a leaf real quick. So let's go to our top view, and we'll just kind of like solo nothing. Can I do that? How do I hide everything? Nah. We'll just go over here. we'll go over here and we're just gonna go to the spline tool here and just draw it real quick. So we'll go not there. Yeah, it's pretty neat. This scatter tool is really nice. We'll go to and the cool thing is then you can come in and make them all dynamic if you want, and then dynamically place all of these trees and make like a huge fallen forest. Maybe we'll do that at the end. Let's go to the spline tool. Right here, we'll turn on snapping to our grid. And let's just draw a crappy leaf as best we can. We don't want points, we just want grid lines. Probably just grid points. We'll make it really rudimentary. Okay, cool. So we'll go, I really want to do it right in the center though. We'll just hide everything real quick. Okay. So I want the axis point to be right in the middle. Yeah, I really made my scale really wonky for this. Okay, full screen. Here we go. It just keeps making squares. Grid spacing is 0.5. Grid spacing is 5 now. So let's do small. 0.5. We'll start here. We'll go to like here. And we'll go out. And we're just going to kind of do like... Oh, that last one was bad. There. That'll do. Turn snapping off. We can move some of these points out to make it a little more. A little less. We don't want this one to be curved, really. So let's grab this line and tell it to not be curved by unselecting everything else. Just having our line selected, and we should be able to do it there, yeah. So we can change the type to linear, and it'll make it jagged, yeah. Yeah, there we go. Just want to tweak it just a bit. Some of it was kind of dramatic. There we go. Okay, here's that. Oh man, thanks. No problem. Thanks for the tip. I appreciate that a lot. Thanks. You're, you know, I feel like you're a big motivator for the whole Discord and everything, man. So I appreciate it. Let's go ahead and go to extrude. We'll put the spline in the extrude. And what we'll do is we'll take a look at the offset here, and we'll do like probably 10 centimeters. And we'll look at it from this view. This is going to be so small, isn't it? H. There we go. Like 1 centimeter. There we go. Do we like that? Around the edges. There we go. Like 1. And make it like 0.25. And then the cap will make like 0.15. 0.5. Yeah, there we go. So then what I'm going to do, 0.2. Yeah. Then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to my spline, go to the side here, H to view everything up. Use the selection tool, hold the middle mouse button to scale your selection tool. And we're just going to kind of curl up the front of this a bit after we add the quads on this. There we go. Now we can select and drag. Spline. Okay, so first, see, we need to add some segments to this. It's still low poly. The object, subdivision, is good. Caps, quads, I like to do regular grid. Regular grid, caps type, quad dominant, and then lower this down. There we go, to 0.8. Now, we can take this leaf, right click, connect objects, hide the old one. Now I can take like this end of it and go to, when I have the selection tool selected, I can go to soft selection, enable that, and you'll see it creates this like yellow pattern on it. So because our thing's like super small, the radius is really big, so like 0.2. And what we can do is it creates that kind of border, and we can kind of slide this up a bit, maybe like 3, and you see how it starts to grow. And so now when we pull it up, it's going to kind of pull up some of these things in the middle here. Oh my god. In the middle here, partially along with this. So then we grab the endpoints and we'll pull that up, and it's going to pull up just some of it along with it, rather than just lifting just the endpoints. So soft selection is pretty cool for modeling and stuff like that. So now we just have a little more dynamic look to these as well. And we can make the whole thing thinner by just kind of scaling it down a little. That, okay. Yep, cool. So now we have a leaf. We'll call that leaf with a capital E. And we'll see how incredibly small this leaf is when we turn all our other stuff back on. So we want the scatter on, and we want the landscape and the lights on. So we'll pull this up, and it's just absurdly small. So we'll click and hold and make it big so we can see it. There we go. We need to turn our trees on as well, even though they're in the scatter. Perfect. So we got this leaf. We're gonna scale it down. And what I would like to have done is probably like add some of these to the trees, but it's not a big deal. We'll scale it down till these are like kind of small. Very nice. And what we're definitely gonna do is create copies of these. We'll probably do the Fong tag off of that. Make the 3 copies, 4 copies. And we're gonna do the same thing with the colors for the leaves to match our trees. I'll even do some like, we'll do like the ground. No, we'll do like a brownish red, like more of a dead leaf. Yeah, like that. Which doesn't make sense, but actually, yeah, let's just use the colors from the trees. That would make more sense. Okay, so we got our 3 leaves. And we're going to do the same thing. We're going to scatter them all over the ground. This time with these, we're going to make it like a whole lot. And we'll be able to rotate them a little more. So we can do... How many do you want to do? Like a ton? Let me save. Let me save. YouTube. Live stream fall. I can't type. Get all this crap. Fall scene live stream. I won't remember. That's what LS means. Okay. So now we can click and drag, and that's a lot. That's cool. Let's keep increasing the count. Oops, that's not the count. This is the count. Keep going. 50, 100. Take the spacing down to like 4. Oh yeah. But keep increasing the count. Like I'm talking a ton. Spacing down like 1. More spacing, less spacing. Come on. Okay. Okay, and we should be able to just like draw this, and it's gonna slow down a bit. We'll see how it handles it. So you might should just do a matrix scatter across the whole thing, but we'll see how well it handles it. Everything's kind of low poly, so it's not really that big of a deal. Are you deleting the Fong tags because this is low poly? Yes. So the Fong tags are what create that kind of like sharp look and stuff. Otherwise it tries, without the Fong tag, it tries to round everything. So that's why when you have like a sphere, it can be like, instead of being like block, 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 it's like smooth. That's the Fong tag. All right, we don't need these everywhere. It just need to be kind of near the, this is too much. This is too much. It's freaking it out. Back it off a little bit. Grab the leaves. Scatter pin tool, lower the count to like 800. And we'll draw mainly near where we kind of have our road, which I believe, yeah, is right in here. So we just want it to be kind of near the front, and you can kind of trail off as we get further back into the forest because you won't be able to see the ground back there. we'll just do that like so. Okay, I think some of those might be floating in the air, but that might look really cool. That might be a happy accident. Let's turn our scatter back on here. And we're lagging a bit now, so it might be too many. I just want to come in here and like take a look at what it would look like. I mean, you can see we're getting there. It's gonna be cool. Once we bring in some environment and some fog and stuff, it's just gonna look real nice. What time is it? How long are we going? Almost 1. Okay, cool. We got time. Yep, that looks nice. Okay, there's too many. Kill it. It's breaking my scene. All right. Hide that. Hide these original trees as well. Shift click to go backwards. In the dot selection, 3 leaves. Make it just right, you know? Count 400. I think we can handle half of that. It's still gonna look good. There we go. I'm gonna say half and then draw twice as much, so it makes sense. Cool. So now we have our trees back on. Oh my god. Trees are on. Our leaves are on. And we have like this nice fall scene with leaves and road. We could put a fence through here real quick. We might do that, but let's just take a look at creating our little forest vibe here a little bit with some like leaves going through like an emitter. I want the leaves to be going through the air. And I want to create a camera down here because I don't want to have to keep scrolling down in here. So we'll go camera. And we'll go kind of in here. We'll do like a 24 millimeters. That's kind of a wide kind of look. Maybe? Yeah, we'll see. We'll get the edge of that road like right there. That look. We'll put something there. Rotate around this guy a bit. Inside of a tree. Grab my camera on the outside. Move it out of this tree so I don't have to scroll wheel a million times. There we go. Off to the left. Yeah, we got some stuff in the foreground. We got some stuff in the background. This should look kind of neat. This might be too much. We might skip that tree. Okay. Now let's do leaves floating through the air. We'll take an emitter, simulate emitter, raise it up in the air, figure out where the hell that is, turn off our camera so we're not moving that around, and find this emitter. There it is. And since we know our camera's over here, we're going to cheat it and just kind of emit near the camera. So we don't need to emit it everywhere. We're going to do a little big, so we'll say emitter size, we'll make it pretty long. We want it to kind of stretch for a while because we want that depth of field and stuff, and kind of big. And we're going to rotate that. Did my music stop? Sure did. There we go. I need my music, you know. I use Soundstripe for my music. So we'll take our emitter and we'll rotate it, the X here, kind of like that. And we're going to grab all of these leaves and click and hold and make a copy of them, put them in the emitter. Have the particle emitter set to render instances and show objects so we can see them. And then what we're going to do is we'll play around with the angle and the vertical here just a bit so it's not like perfectly in a straight line as it comes out. And then we'll play around with the variation of the life, variation of the speed, definitely rotation variation, and the in scale is fine. So we'll hit play. We'll go back to the beginning, hit play. Oh yeah. Yeah, you can kind of see the vibe we're going to get from this. We're going to up our speed to like 400. Hit play on this again. Yeah. So I like that, but I want that. I like that speed, but I want that to be over here, you know? So I want to live long enough to get over there. So what I want to do is let's make it make a few more. So we'll say like, 100 and 100. We don't want it to be crazy. Yeah, that looks good. And then what I want is to start the emission at like -240 and to stop the emission at 240, and their lifetime should be 480. That's fine. So now if I come in here and I go down to the base level down here and I say -240 for the start, then I move my project window back by clicking and holding this all the way up to 0. What we should get is something. There it is. So they're already too far out there. I've just blown my own mind. What am I doing? How does that work? Start emission at -120. -120. There we go. Sorry, that was confusing. What is happening? That's fine. What if I say start at 0? Is it? Okay, that's what I thought. Let's start this at 0, and I just say start at -120. Yeah, okay, so it does need to go back that far. But I can still leave this at frame 0. My preview. So I just need to leave my stop emission at 480. If I back it up even further, is that going to make it loop? I wanted to like see if I can make it loopable. I don't think it's going to be. Which isn't the end of the world. But it is. Yeah, I send the stop emission to like, let's do 1,000. Both of those. I think there is a way for me to make this loopable. But I think I have to get rid of the variation and stuff. But it's not a big deal. It doesn't have to be loopable. I also could just have it like scale and fade off if I wanted to. But let's just not even worry about making an animation. Let's just go ahead and just deal with it like it's a still image. So we're gonna bring this kind of down like that. We'll go back into our camera view. I'm liking the way this is looking. Let's go ahead and for our sky, let's go and add a light, add a dome light. We'll go to the content browser, type in sky. Go down here to these images. Any image you've ever used, I think, starts to be stored in there, which is nice. You can add a watch folder. I think it just creates the folders now whenever you use it. But okay, let's go ahead and do like this one, desert sky. Download that. And then we will click and hold, pull that into the texture here. There we go. And we'll take a look at what this looks like now. We're gonna review. Yeah. So we're starting to get there. Let's turn off our infinite light just so we can see what our dome light's doing. Okay. So our dome light's coming in this way with a nice orange light. We can see this tree is kind of floating a little bit. We'll fix that as well. But let's go ahead and fix this light by just taking our dome light, hitting rotate, going to the top view here, and just rotating that around until we see that shadow come the direction we want to come, which is kind of this way. Yeah, like that. Maybe not completely that way. Oops. Not straight at the camera, more sideways. Yeah. Okay, that's looking good. And really we want to not really use that as our sun, but that's kind of just our base level. We want to have that infinite light kind of match that and really replace it somewhat. So infinite light is here. W rotate it around so it kind of matches. W makes things rotate on the world space. So we'll do that, and then we'll hit W again. That makes it rotate on the global space, like I mean the object space. If I tilt that down, it should get longer shadows, yeah. So I like those longer shadows, yeah. And we'll rotate it a little bit this way. Yeah. And we'll go in here to our details, and for the softness, we'll crank that up to like 2. That should soften up our shadows just a little bit. Okay, cool. And so now we can come in here and add a, we'll save. We'll add an environment, Redshift objects, Redshift environment. And that's gonna instantly be blown out by the fog and everything. But we're gonna come in here and go to the environment, change the scattering down to 0.001. And now we have this nice fog coming through. It's still obviously too thick. But what we want to do is we want to lower the contribution of things. So our dome light, we kind of want it to contribute, but not a ton. So we're going to go into the dome light details tab, and here you have the volume. So if I lower that down to like 0.2, it's going to make that impact a lot less. So now we're mainly using our infinite light to hit the volumes. And we'll come down to our infinite light, bring it up here so we can see it. And we're gonna change the color of it to like this slightly sunsetty orangish gold. Like that. It doesn't take much color. Like that. And we're going to go to the details, and we're gonna lower that down as well to like 0.3. Yeah, it's just, we just want it to be kind of hazy. I'm wondering if this is worth it to blow out our sky back there that much, though. I kind of like the way it looks there. It's just, if I turn that off. If I do 0 for the dome light and then just add the infinite light. It's better. Turn the intensity down to 1. Because I liked being able to see that sky a little bit. I don't love this. I like that better. Let's change our fog color. Be kind of a fallish hue as well. It's lagging a bit. There we go. I like that. So we can come into our dome light, and what we can do is go to object, and we can enable the backplate if we want, and grab like a sky if we wanted to. Any clouds in the let's do that. Throw that on there. No. No. These are sky presets, not images, apparently. Let's do image media. We just grab that thing we used, right? Throw that in there. The thing I don't like about the asset browser, I like it because everybody has access to it. But the thing I don't like is that where it puts things is weird. It's like asset DB whatever, and when you try to like move things around, it gets funky. This is just like fog blowing it out. I guess we can lower the. Yeah. Oh, I kind of like that though. I like that contrast with the dark blue sky. Happy accident. Let's just lose the fog for now, maybe. Maybe make the fog like dark blue. Is that crazy? It is kind of crazy. I don't love it. I'm losing the fall vibe though. I like nighttime. I like the idea of a nighttime one. Let's do nighttime. We got that is lower. Go to our infinite light. Volume contribution 1, redshift environment. Now we can change it to like 0.01. Should thicken it back up, yeah. We can change the tint to that. So like a more of a gray, I guess. So now if we add some like a fence and a lantern, I think that'd be nice. Yeah. Just keep adding to it. Tweak that. Let's move our camera just up a little bit here. What if we go more into the forest? Always tweaking things around. Good. Maybe I just don't need that road. Maybe I do. I don't know. What do you think? Now I'm like second guessing my whole design. This is the process that I wanted to show. As boring as it is for YouTube content, I just think it's like, I don't know. I don't always know what I'm doing. And I think that's normal. I think a lot of people don't, and they run into issues and stuff. I think this looks cool. I think I could put like a little scene right here or something, and I think this is looking pretty good. And we can add some grass on this ground and make it a little better. What time we got? We might have to make this like a 2-part series, which should be fun. Okay. This is looking okay. I like this so far. Let's change our infinite light to match our scene real quick. Hit W. Rotate it. That's my landscape. W. I think I got a little lag. Yeah. Okay. So what are you thinking? What are we thinking here, chat? Like a big pumpkin? Something? I don't know. Take this whole scatter. Take me to that. Take this whole scatter of the trees. And we're just gonna push it down just like a tiniest amount so that everything gets clipped into the ground. I don't want things floating. And then do we add a big pumpkin, a ghost? Do we just move this into the forest and let the forest be it till we do a car? I know, I want to do a pumpkin. I want to do a ghost. When I'm gonna do a ghost tutorial for Halloween, and I want it to be like the ghost in Charlie Brown, where they're just like a round shape, like Lego ghost kind of. I think I just move my trees and just draw some more trees in. I think my road idea was actually. Ooh. Could do like next to the road, you know. That's not that bad. Move my emitter kind of over here. Maybe make it bigger too. Restart it. And look at it this way. That's kind of nice. Needs a warmer tone to it. I had some blue on it. Can you warm up the fog? Yeah. It's hard to have the fog hug the ground. We might just need to ditch the fog altogether. I love fog. We might bring it back into it, but I think now conceptually, as I design it, I think I want it to be more daytime. In my head it was bright and sunny and happy, and I'm making it like this dark, spooky night. I don't think I need to. Let's get rid of the backplate. There we go. That's better, isn't it? That's better. It's not the easiest thing to have the fog hug the ground. So it might be easier to do it with the volume shader, like with actual clouds, but I don't think it needs fog. I don't think fog, I mean, you can like adjust the fog height and stuff here. Could try that real quick, but then if I take off the general fog, does that leave the bottom fog? I don't remember. I did a tutorial on this and I can't remember what I did. As you can 100% like clip it. I don't think it needs the fog. I think I'm trying too hard with the fog. I like the leaves. I don't like them flying straight at the camera. I think I'm close to something here. I think I just shouldn't have made this big gap in the middle. Which is fine, I can just move around or fill it in. But I'm wondering if I should just be in the forest. You know? And not worry about the road and all that. And just move my emitter. Be back here. That's probably better. Let's just blast till he's built it up so they're blasting kind of more. We could add turbulence and stuff to them, but we don't even really need to. They're looking good, I think. They are going to clip through the ground, but I'm not that worried about that. Probably should be a little bit. What is happening? Why can't I grab things? Like, how did it get rotated like this? There we go. WE. There we go. Okay. Now, let's take it, push it back this way so there's more. Now rotate it this way so it's kind of coming at the camera a little bit. There we go. Okay. I like that. We can do some clouds in the sky. We can do pumpkins. We can do hay bales. A little campsite. What seems folly? A picnic? Like a blanket in a basket. This might have to be a 2-part series. That's okay. Let's try to shove all these trees into the ground. Just go -5. There we go. Okay. Leaves are good. The trees are good. The scene is not. What is it missing? Is it missing? Is the ground too flat? Let me save. We need to subdivide the ground, which will smooth it back out. Let's add a couple more subdivisions to this. And we're gonna hit connect. Add the old one. Take the new one, add a new displacement. Drag. Add another noise to that. I could still add a polygon reduction to this. I know I'm like subdividing it and then reducing it. But it's because it's gonna build it in a different way. I like the way it makes the triangles less grid organized. Now when we look at it, yeah, it's better. But now I have to obviously redraw my leaves on the ground. Was it worth it? Yeah. Right? At this point, what's happening in my mind, to be completely transparent, is this was a bad idea. I thought I could make a simple low poly scene, and this is not good, and I can't do it, and this is a big mistake. But it'll be fine. We'll get through it. I just wanted to, like, that's literally what's going through my head. So I just want you to know that. Let's redo the leaves. All we're gonna do is delete these scattered objects here. Grab these leaves. We'll grab the landscape and isolate it, and then we'll grab these. Sorry, not that landscape. This new landscape. Isolate it. Grab the leaves. Shift click. Scatter pin. Should all still be set up the same way we had it. Doesn't look that low poly anymore, does it? Okay. Now unsolo. Go back to our camera. Yeah, now our leaves are on the ground. Okay. So now we go to our camera. We go to the camera tag, Poca, override, enable focus distance, set to focus distance, Redshift render view, open that up, click the IPR. And we want to focus on something that's going to be probably like right here. So we'll say click and we'll say right there. We're going to put something there. And what we're going to do is we're going to hold Alt and scale up our. There we go. So like that. Alt controls the COC radius. Click and hold and drag. Bigger the radius, the shallower the depth of field, the smaller the radius, the less the depth of field. And click and hold. So we could click on this if we wanted to. We could click on this single leaf, which is kind of cool. So we'll click on the ground here. Let's add like a pumpkin or a sign or a fence that's going through here. I think it'd be cool. So let's go ahead and just create, don't do an I-beam. No. Let's just do like a cylinder and just build it out real quick. Cylinder. And we're gonna move that over here right in front of our camera. So you can see it, move it up. There it is, hello. And we're going to pull it up, rotate it, and then we're gonna make a fence out of this real quick. Rotate 90 degrees, shrink it down by grabbing or scaling it down. Radius will say 2, 4. We want it to be like logs, yeah. Rotation segments 7. We'll make it funky. Delete the fong tag. Put a few more height segments in there. Hit C, and then make it editable. Go to displacement, hold shift, put that in there. Shading, noise, there we go. Object, turn the noise down just a little bit. There we go, we'll put that brown object. We'll do like the lighter brown, put that on the cylinder. There we go. So we have a fence post. We'll have it like come in here, and we'll do like 2, grab both of them. Shift click, drag, shift click, and drag. We could do an array and a cloner and all that stuff, but we don't, don't really need to. Hold control and hit R, hold shift to rotate it 90 degrees. T, scale it down, make it, then we'll, oops, shift Z. And we'll make this a little fatter. And we'll use that one as like the post. So we don't need to model all of it, we'll just use copies of it and stuff. Be fine. Post, take it over here. Rotate it a bit. Maybe all the way around. And we'll take some of these and rotate them just so it's not exactly identical. That way you can't really tell that I used the same exact log for all of it. Screw that one, I'll just leave it. Here we go. Okay, now we should have a little more life in our scene. What org is this shirt for? Oh, Thrivent. It is my life insurance. It's just comfy. Okay, so our depth of field is crazy. So hold Alt and lower that down. We can do it based on like the size of this. But you can see if you go here to our camera, you can see it corresponding live. Go to the camera, bokeh. So if I make it smaller, the numbers get smaller. And so we can see like around 4. It's probably pretty good. So we got a fence here. We can put, so let's put like a stack of pumpkins and focus on that stack of pumpkins like right in the middle of this. And that'll be cute. Huh? Do that. That'd be cute, huh? Alright, let's see. Pumpkins. Let's make a pumpkin. That's all I wanted to do all day. Make a pumpkin. My brain tells me a sphere, but it also tells me a cylinder. Tilt shift effect is, yeah. Yep, that's exactly what tilt shift is and how you do it. It's just literally like, it's funny, the AI stuff, people were typing in for the AI thing, Octane render, and that would just give it a tilt shift. I was like, that's really random. Apparently a lot of Octane people do tilt shift stuff. Yeah, we can do that real quick. Let's just make a new camera. We can zoom out and go up high, you know, and do this kind of thing. And we'll be big and we'll make it look kind of like a little microscopic world. And we'll add the bokeh. Enable focus distance, like right here. And then give it a big depth of field. There you go. Tilt shift, just like that. Now everything looks tiny. Pretty neat, huh? We definitely need some grass and stuff going on the ground, and then we'll do like a big pile of pumpkins. That'll be fun. We're getting there. It's coming along. See, I had that moment where I was like, I should stop and just be done, but we're gonna push through and get something out of this that we like. Yeah, that's pretty much it. You just make your COC really big, like ridiculously large, 58. That gives you that tilt shift look. Tiny. Exactly. It's cool though. It's a cool look. Back to here. Okay. Pumpkins. Pumpkins, pumpkins. Who's got the pumpkins? Let's make a pumpkin. I'm really trying to think of the best way to make this, and I want to say that it's a sphere, right? Like, there's gotta be. Let's isolate the sphere. Get out of our camera view and make a pumpkin. Okay. If you ever get lost in your viewport, you can hit H, and that frames up everything in your shot. I think there's some way to do like focus on the object you have selected too. Might be like Shift H or something. I don't know. But here we go. Let's make a pumpkin. Low poly pumpkin. 8. Not enough. 12. Too many. 10. 12. 12. Okay, 12 it is. And we're going to hit C. We're going to delete our Fong tag. So now we have like this jagged edge. Grab the top bit here. Flatten that out a little bit. Now, do I want to... I still have soft selection, so you can like add some imperfections and stuff with this soft selection radius, you know. You could scale it up, like, you know, just grab a point, kind of stretch it out just to give your pumpkin a little more organic look so it's not perfectly round without having to add like a displacer or anything. You can control it a bit. You want it to be kind of a fat boy. Soft selection is really cool, but it's also really easy to forget to turn off. Little warpy pumpkin. So we'll take our edge tool here. We'll hit Control A, get all of our edges. No, we're gonna double click, Shift double click all of our vertical lines here, which I think we could just do with the loop tool here. Click, Shift click, Shift click, Shift click, Shift click, Shift click. Okay, so we've got all the things looped here, and then we're going to right click and hit bevel, and we're gonna bevel that out. And so now that we've beveled that out, we're going to hit U, Y, no. We're going to, yeah, we're gonna hold Control. We have all of our things beveled. We have everything that we just beveled. We're gonna hold Control and click the faces. And what that's going to do is that's going to select all the faces within our edge selection there. And now we're going to... I need another layer of beveling, don't I? Let me think. Because if I just suck this in, there's not going to be any frame point in the middle. But if I just come in here and unselect Control, right? Can I do that? Or does I need to do it with the edge tool? Unselect every other one. I think you can just do the edges. I don't think it's going to matter. Unselect every other one. There we go. Okay. So now we have it skipping. And what we can do now, go back to a polygon selection. Yeah, and just hit T. Oh my god. With that selected, hit T and just scale it in. So now we've made a pumpkin. There we go. And we can come up here to the top and kind of control this a bit. That's why soft selection is kind of good for this, because now you can come in here and kind of, you know, adjust it a little more. If you want things to be like a little more even, you select all of them like that, and you hit T, and you just scale it on one axis, and it's gonna kind of flatten your top out a little bit. Yeah. So one thing to be mindful of is whether in your axis mode, whether you have it set to select visible only or not in the options. So if visible only is not on, I'll be able to select like all of them and scale them together and kind of like that. Yeah. So then we can come in here and just do the beginning, turn back visible only, so we're not selecting through our shape. Tinier. And we'll just do like that. Bring it down a little bit in the middle. And then we'll lower the soft selection radius here, so we're not getting as much, and we'll suck this in a bit. Yep. Pumpkin. Excellent. Now we're going to hold control, click, and that's going to select our little face here. And we're going to just hold control and, nope, sorry, undo self selection. Hold control and pull, and then hold control release, and pull out like that. There we go. Now we have a pumpkin. And we can scale that end up a little bit and maybe rotate it so it's like that. Yeah, a little pumpkin. Okay, so now since we're doing this out of one shape, what I want to do is make sure that I select all of my trunk, shift click with the loop selection tool. We'll throw the brown on there, and then we'll hit UI, and that inverts our selection. And so now we have everything else selected, and we're going to make that pumpkin color, which is obviously going to be orange. We could do white pumpkins too, but we'll do orange. We'll make it a little more orange. A little more. Yeah, like that. And we've accidentally selected the top of this, so we'll just put that brown back on the top of that pumpkin. All right, so now we have a pumpkin. And what we can do is this, we'll go ahead and go unsolo this. And we'll go to our camera scene here. This one here. Grab our pumpkin. And move it in so you can see it. And move it in so you can see it in our camera view here. And see, I didn't move the pumpkin. I moved the polygon because I had it selected. So I want to do the whole polygon here. There we go. Whole thing. Make sure you're in object mode and not polygon mode. There's our pumpkin. Look at it. It's beautiful. What's it look like in our scene here? And then we'll just kind of dynamically make like a pile of those. Oh, not bad. I think what I could do is I could select those little inner edges and make them slightly different color. Just, you know, like double click, loop tool. Like that, yeah. Shift click that. Oh, it's going all the way up. Oh, I'm moving my camera now. Oh, this is the pains of this. So you want to try to leave everything in the middle as often as you can until you're done. Music. This is what's going on. My music stopped. My media. Let's do my playlist. There we go. All right, so we want to be scroll wheel like crazy. We're over here. There's our pumpkin. We want this line. We want this one. We want this one. Okay, but we don't want any of this stuff on the top, so we're gonna get that, hold control, just erase that, erase all that. There we go. And we just want to make a version of this that's slightly lighter. I think that will look nice for a pumpkin. Okay, now we can go back to our camera. Jeez. Redshift, render view, render. I was wrong. It doesn't look good at all. Should just have been green. I was very wrong. Leave it back in full pumpkin. What about my pumpkin I don't like though? If I subsurface my pumpkin and then polygon reduce my pumpkin, that should leave the colors in the right spot, but give it that shape. It's better. Lost a little too much detail there. If I take off the subdivide and I just do the polygon reduction, yeah, I'll lose all my detail. That's not bad. I think then we could come in here and displace that. Shading, noise, object. They come here like it's too much. Okay. There. I like that pumpkin. And some kind of river. I think that would be nice to add a river too. I think like a little river going down, like maybe like right through there, or maybe even here, like ends right in front of the fence, and we'll scoot back a bit and get some river. I think that's a good idea. All right, so we've got a pumpkin here. Holy cow, we made a pumpkin. And we're going to say connect objects. I'll hide this stuff in case you want to make another copy of our pumpkin. Pumpkin. Save. Now we could take this pumpkin, go to the model mode, get out of our camera view. Okay. I'm inside my tree. I think that'd be a really good idea. We'll take this pumpkin, and what we're going to do is we're going to use the scatter pin tool. We're not going to make near as many pumpkins. And we're not going to do near as many, like, do like this. That's all it made. No object spacing. Is the objects? I don't understand what my object spacing is. It's freaking it out for. What am I doing here? Density. Are they just like too big? And let's take a look here. So it's just huge. It's like putting them on the trees and stuff. I think some of those are flying. Yeah. Yeah, okay, so that's what I was doing. So we'll go to our landscape. I select that once again. Wrong landscape. Here we go. Let's make sure we're in the right spot. Okay, here we are. Pumpkin. See, this huge. I don't want them to scatter all over the place like that. Why? Why? This should be right. What is happening? Why are they flying? That's kind of fun though. Let's just do this for a second. And then move them back. Just pumpkins as far as the eye can see. Charlie Brown. It's kind of fun. Not really though. Alright. Stop it. Let's do pumpkin. We'll throw it in a cloner real quick. Bring that cloner up and over. What? I think I need to reset my... I don't have like the reset the PTR or whatever. Pumpkin tornado. So like the pumpkins are way over here, but my cloner is way over here. So let's go ahead and go back to... Just go back to whatever I was doing before the cloner. We'll make a copy of this pumpkin, and we're going to set this pumpkin to have the anchor point, tools, reset. Nope. Tools, axis, tools, axis, center object axis. There we go. Now I want to take a cloner, put that pumpkin in that. So I just moved my pumpkin back to the 0, 0, 0. Move my cloner up here. There we go. Whew. Like so. We'll do grid, that's fine. 50, 50. 250, 250, 250. Yeah. We'll bring those up. And now we will add a bullet. Raise your body tag. Add a bullet collider tag to that. Add a bullet collider tag to this. Let's see if this works. And then the landscape bullet collider body. Save. Hit play. I think they're all gonna come in as one big thing, yeah. This gonna be, are they gonna move after? Yeah, there we go. Can I use the dynamic move tool on a cloner object? Actually, there's not that many of them. Let's just go to our cloner. I'm sorry. I know how to do this better. Cloner object. Take the dynamics off of it for now. We'll do 3 stacks. 2. Let's take a look at where it is here. Here we go. Cloner. We're gonna go to transform, effectors. We're gonna go to MoGraph, random effector. And we're gonna adjust the position, the rotation of all these. Doesn't matter because we're gonna have, well, might as well 50, 50, 50. We're gonna do dynamics anyway, but uniform scale, scale of 1. It's gonna freak it out, isn't it? 1.5. Oh yeah, there we go. So we have all different sizes, and we're gonna bring our corner in together a little bit more. Maybe not that close, because then they'll collide into each other. Okay, so we've got those sort of where we want them. We'll back it up a bit, and we'll bring it up in the air. And then we're gonna add the dynamic tag. No, we're just gonna copy. We're gonna go control. I don't think I needed the random tag. Actually, I did for the size. Okay. We're gonna hit C on this and make our cloner editable. And it's gonna make all these pumpkins here. Okay. So now all these pumpkins are individual objects, but now that they're all individual objects, we can use the dynamic move tool, which is over here, and I can just dynamically move them around and they'll have dynamics instantly. So I can just adjust them by grabbing them. I can just pull them down, and some of our pumpkins are apparently huge. If you hold shift, you can like play through the animation, the dynamics. Obviously, these two pumpkins here are way too big. Then I want to grab, why can't I grab this? Axis, there we go. This guy, scale him down. This guy, scale him down. This guy, scale him down. There we go. So we'll grab all of these, dynamic move tool. If we scale them in, it'll pull them all kind of together. T, oh, that's pure scale. Grab that scale here, that'll bring them in this way. This will bring them in this way together. There we go. Like that. And they all will have dynamics to them already. And we can hold shift and kind of let them go. And add them onto the pile. Yep, and now we can take like some more of these, hit E, hold control, have a copy of them. Again, dynamic selection. And then just kind of rotate them around. Pull them in to work together. And then hold shift while you click and drag and move them down. Here we go. If you hold shift, it'll play through the frames. Yes. We're staying one frame and play through the motion. It plays through the motion. So we're staying at frame 0. Like we're not, there's no keyframing animation here. So if I, let's grab this guy. Hold control, move it up. We'll do like dynamic tag. If I just hold E and move it, it'll have dynamics. So like if I move it around, it'll clash into stuff. But if I let go, it just stops. But if I hold the shift when I let go and I'm moving it, it keeps that momentum and just plays through. But as soon as I let go of shift, it stops. So I can like throw things into stuff and leave it like that if I want. Now we're getting somewhere. We can obviously come in here and just rotate some things around. We can clip things into stuff if we need to. Doesn't really matter. We can unclip them by moving this one around, rotating it out of there a bit. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Now we're almost at the 2-hour mark. That's crazy long. There we go. Like so. Then we can add a river and maybe some hay bales here really quick. Let's try to wrap this up. We can add some clouds too. I think this is looking better than I thought. We'll add some grass. Oh, there's so much to do. All right, we're gonna laser through this. We're gonna do it. Okay, river. We'll just do a cube. Move cube. This is how I build like this massive scene. I don't need any half of what I've created here. But, I have the option now if I want to do and change it, I can. But, whatever. I'll say I did it on purpose. Cube. Big. Right there. Put some segments in there. 40, 40, 40. Okay. We're going to obviously delete the Fong tag. Come in here, right click, do what we've been doing to everything here. That is add displacement. Onto it, come to displacer tag, shading, noise, switch the noise to something like electric. Scale it up a bit. Yeah. Go to displacer objects, lower that down. It's like that. Maybe just like 4. Yep. come to the cube, shift click, right click, connect objects and delete. Go to the polygon reduction, hold alt, click, drag that into there. And so you can start just seeing the process for creating these. And so now we'll go to create. Now we'll just grab one of these, control click, throw it on there. We're going to double click that, open it up, change this to blue. And we're going to take the roughness down on this one to like 0.2, so it's shinier. Okay, and now we have a river kind of coming through here. Yeah, it's not even in the shot, is it? This drives me crazy. I need to set up my viewport to be not like that. So we'll hit Control D, and no, we'll go to View. What is it? It's not in Control D. It's in here. Configure. Go to View, Configure. Save frames. Opacity, 100%. Like, I don't want to see stuff that I'm not going to see. So now I can realize that my river is not in the ground. I can stretch it out. I just need to move it back. So I could put it on the other side of the fence. I don't know, maybe I should just run it through. Why is my rotation point so weird for this one too? It's tools, axis, center, axis to, I can never get this right. Does that work? Maybe it's because I was doing it on not the actual. There we go. As I had it on the polygon reduction tool selected. So I turn this and I put it kind of through. That's stupid to run the river through our fence, yeah. Let's just put it in front of the fence and back the camera up a little bit. Not that much. Not that camera. This camera. Push it forward. Yeah, I don't really want to tell that my fence goes through my tree there, but you also can edit your scatter. So if you come in here, we see we have the scatter and we have this tree. Is this the scatter we want? Yeah. And you can go to edit mode. You should be able to grab this tree and just move it. So even though it's a scattered object, I can move it. And I'm just gonna move it in front of the fence here. Like that, I think. I don't like that. I didn't like that. Let's just add another fence post back. Okay. But yeah, you can adjust your scatter afterwards, which is really nice. And then we should have a nice little scene here. Let's adjust our focus point. Not too bad though. Let's get our leaves. Our leaves have kind of, we've lost our leaves a bit here. Let's take our emitter, shrink it back in the X, make them a little more dense here. Like 2,000. 5,000. Play. Here we go. Since we're just gonna still, let's go ahead and go back to our thing here and go to the particle and just not worry about that. Then we have to wait for it. Yeah, I don't want to do that. Never mind. Go back to that. We're getting there. was gonna add the hay bale. Got 5 minutes. Let's take this water and add some transmission to it. Depth, blue, depth, 30. Dispersion. There we go. Let's render region this, hit the final render on it, so we can take a look at what that water is actually looking like, because the IPR does not like dispersion. Might be too see-through now. Yeah, all we did was just make it take too long. So let's take this dispersion down to 0. Transmission down to 0. Transmission up. Color blue to teal. More blue to purple to purple still. Somewhere in between here. Here we go, we're getting there. Nice. Now, I like that. Is our river? Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. Good. Yo, I go by Zach. What's happening? Hey, hey, hey. What you do? Do you do you do Redshift tutorials, don't you? I feel like I've seen your name before. Alright, let's see what this water's looking like here. It's too high, isn't it? It just needs to be more subtle, and I need to put some rocks along the side. It's like forced into the shot, you know? Or if you zoom out, back up, push this down a bit. Not that far. Pull it back just a tiny bit into the water, like that. Yeah. Better, it doesn't look like a river. Let's pull it up just a bit. Like the tiniest amount. Like that. There we go. And I'll add some rocks along the side and make it look like a little river. We're getting there. Our pumpkins are floating here. Dynamic pool, tool, shift. Oh god. Click something. There we go. You can always just shove them into the ground a bit. But they're just kind of floating because they're weird shapes. Not the end of the world. There we go. Nice. Cool, I thought so. Cool, cool, cool. We've got a little bitty pumpkin here. Look at this guy. Scale him up. Let's go ahead and do... Let's rotate him around. And then let's go ahead and make some rocks. And we're just going to use the dynamic tool to place this guy real quick. Shift. There we go. Let him settle a bit. And then we'll force him. Flip him over. Like so. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. Whip him around. And then shove him into the ground anyway. Perfect. Alright. Let's make some rocks along the river. And then I think we have a pretty dynamic looking scene. We'll do some hay bales super quick too. Same process, rinse, repeat. Again, displacement, all that stuff. Bring it over here. Here we go. Slap this in here. Pull it over. These still need to be bigger than our pumpkins. Bring it down, pull it up. These would be pretty basic, so they don't need to be like super distorted or anything like most of our other stuff here. But it's kind of a rinse repeat kind of scenario where we'll, you know, add like 10 10 frames, add a displacer modifier to it. We're just gonna copy and paste from this one. Hold control. Too much. 10. Yeah, there we go. But we're gonna go into the shading, scale that up so it's not so obvious. There we go. And then we'll probably just throw this yellow texture on there that we already have. And we'll go ahead and just make a copy and a copy and a copy. And then we'll go ahead and select all of these. Dynamic move tool, kind of slap them together, rotate them a bit, pull them up, and then let go of them. Just kind of let them fall. Oh. Well, let's force them to fall a little more. Let's do these two. Move them over. And just toss that one off there. Let's just throw him. Let's throw him back. Get out of there. Now I'm just sticking around. Alright, let's see. Let's just move you. I've gotten so confused. 2 hours is the limit for sure for my brain to do a live stream here. Yeah, if you're just tuned in or if you're still sticking around, thank you. First of all, just remember that you can join the channel or Patreon, all that jazz. But the whole point of this live stream was because I was, I really want to teach how to, break through barriers and, not be afraid of failing and not releasing stuff because you think it's not going to be good enough and all this imposter syndrome stuff, which is 100% how I felt, especially halfway through this when I thought, oh my gosh, I've made a mistake doing this tutorial. I shouldn't have done this. It's awful. But now, I've pushed through and I want to teach people how to break through barriers. So I need to start breaking through some of my own barriers. So I wanted to make sure that I practice what I preached. And so I started, just going. I just kept going. And I think we've come up with something really nice and to create here. I think we've got a nice thing going on here. We could have some like spickety things coming out of that hay to make it look a little more whatever, but first thing I'm going to do is delete all these Fong tags. Take a look at it. But yeah, seems like a nice things, man. I appreciate it. There for a while, I really didn't think that it was going to turn into anything, but it did. I think it has. It's just fun. Fun little scene. Squish these down into the ground a little bit more. I don't know if these are reading as hay bales. I should have 3 there. Yeah, and let's offset this one. Did you guys ever play Agricola, the board game? These hay bales make me think of Agricola and the pumpkins too. God, I love Agricola. So good. Okay, cool. Let's do rocks. Let's just grab one of these hay bales. Since it's over here and I don't want to deal with bringing it over. We'll make it small. Yep, we'll make a new texture that's gray. Probably even less shiny because it's a rock. Throw it on there. Really displace the crap out of this. Change it to different type. There we go. But then change the to intensity. And then we'll go in here to the shading and really scale it up to like 5,000. Oops. 5,000. 2,000. 2,000. There we go. Then we could swap back to the normalize. No, regular intensity. Yep. That centered makes it all weird. And then we'll come in here, we'll change the type. I think that's really the issue. I just want it to be blobular. And I shouldn't have been lazy with the hay bale. I should have just made a new shape. But it's okay. No, it's not okay. Well, I don't know that it is. Okay. We might have to make a new shape. Let's try this first. Tools. Axis. Center axis to axis. Wrong thing. Scale it down a bit. Yeah, there we go. That's totally fine. What am I doing? There we go. Let's move it back here like that. Copy that. Bring it over. Rotate it around. Scale it down. Push it back. Make another copy that's smaller. And move it forward here in front of that bad boy. Rotate it around. Shove it down. That. Bring it over here. Scale it up big. Push it into the ground right there. And slide it back just a bit. And maybe rotate that one. We're just trying to want a little border that's like, oh hey, I'm a little stream. It's been made naturally. Yeah. Okay. Now, do a tutorial on making water ripples a cartoony look and how to give shimmer to the water. Yeah. Yeah, I was actually watching, if you guys, I love video games, if you guys don't know. Have you ever seen the game Short Hike, A Short Hike? I love the way that game does water. It's really nice. I like that the hay bales are square still and not triangular, but I want to see what these look like if I do add the polygon reduction tool to them. Because I think the square fits the vibe of the hay bale, but which one's this one? This one. But I want to see. Does that look better? So I was trying to figure out what was off about the hay bales, and it's because I didn't do the polygon reduction on it. And I think it works better with it on, with it off. I mean. Okay. Yes, I would like to do that. I wish that Redshift had more sketch and tune type of stuff, for sure. All right, so now we've got our scene pretty much set up how we want it, and now we need to do some tweaking, some bloom, and just kind of adjust our depth of field just a tiny bit. Let's focus on this pumpkin right here, and we've got our COC, which is what did end up being at 4.5. Let's change it to 3.5. I think it's a little strong. There we go. And one thing I really wanted to see if I could bring into this scene was fog. And so we're going to go ahead and add back that environment map. Because we ended up not having a lot of detail in the clouds anyway. In the sky. We could bring the clouds in. Beautiful. Perfect. 0.001. We're getting somewhere now. Okay, I'm liking what I'm seeing. A little orange hue to it, like a nice evening light coming through here. Ooh. It's too strong, but we can fix it. We have the technology, chat. All right, we'll go to the, where's my lights? Infinite light. And we're going to go to details, volume, turn that down to 0.5. The reason I'm doing this rather than lowering that number even more is because at a certain point, the environment map just gets like, these numbers are so small that it's just hard to make adjustments. So everything's kind of multiplicative. So I just adjust the light instead. So you don't have that. So if I go to my dome light real quick and I turn that off altogether. How much is that affecting our global lighting? Yeah. I don't like the way that looks as much. I don't understand this node editor. Where should I put the AO in? Do you have a vid? Do you know it? Yeah, I have a video on it, but yes, to do the AO, basically, if you have a map here, let's say you have a texture map, right? This is your AO. It's black and white, whatever. How am I making copies of that? Texture of that. Why is this just... You see that? I'm just clicking in. Oh my gosh. Sorry. Anyway, the AO, you just grab and you take it and you put it over here, and you go to base properties, geometry, overall tint, and that is where AO goes. And then you'll have your AO how you want it. That's the short version of it. You can also plug in the AO node, I guess. Same thing, and then you can adjust it and stuff like that. All right, so I want to fix this because this looks weird right now. Take that off, turn this on. I just want to make sure that I have my lighting kind of matching, because I might end up just liking the dome light on its own, which I hate to admit. No problem, Jake. It's just the fog's too bright. Search so much for it, no one's shown it properly. That's because, honestly, you really don't need to use AO much anymore. You still totally can. Definitely you can use it for artistic style. It's actually a really good way to do grunge maps and dirt and stuff, is to use the AO property. So you can put dirt in places that would gather dirt. But basically, AO was kind of invented back before GI was a very popular thing. So you had to fake kind of the GI, and now that you don't have to, you kind of have AO naturally. So it's not as big of a deal, but that's kind of why. Alright, we just want to wrap up the lighting on this scene. We need to wrap this scene up. Is that new with the AO, or has it always been that way? It's always been that way. It's just not a lot on it because it's not a very common needed that much anymore. But yeah, you can do AO. Is this looking good? This is looking pretty good. I think we just need some. It's looking pretty good. I think I can tweak the angle of my infinite light and maybe turn it down to like 3. Yeah. Okay. I'm liking this. I wish we had some more leaves in focus. I can mess around with where my leaves are. Let's just move it real quick. Move it back, maybe? It's not bad. I like this guy. Okay, cool. And then we can go into the post effects. We'll save. Color correction. Check. Turn up the contrast just a tiny bit. Do a tiniest S curve. Teeny tiny S curve. Post photographic exposure. Set our shutter speed to 180 so it's normal. And then we can lower that f-stop down to brighten it back up. I say normal. It's like that's how I film things. How you film things. Bloom. Turn that on. Just a bit of that bloom. Oh, we could try a flare. No. I don't think we need the flare. I think we can come back into our lights and try to crank up that volume contribution a bit more. Because the bloom kind of washed it out. But yeah. Oh, I want to twist my tree. Let's just twist this one tree. Let's not worry about all this. Well. Yes. I don't want to draw that again. Edit mode. This one particular tree. That's all I want. Put the wrong scatter. This scatter. Edit mode. This tree. Oh, can I take this tree and convert it to an object? Why is this not working? Oh well, I'm not worried about it. Hit the parent. twist it. It's not gonna work. Oh well. No big deal. Tell you what I could do is just move it out of the way, right? Oh wait, it did make a copy of it. Okay, wait, is this like isolated here now? So it did work. It's just not wanting to twirl down. Let's take edit mode off. Now it's gone. Okay, undo that. Lost my tree. Take the original tree here, and we'll just make a copy of it. And we're just gonna manually put that bad boy where we want it. We can add that twist to it, so this one tree has some twist. There we go. Pull it up. Pull it over. And then forward a little bit. Now we'll put twist on this one. Boop. Nope. I never remember if it's Shift or Alt for these things. Every tutorial I do it twice. We're just gonna twist it. And we'll bring it down. Whole tree. Scale that whole tree down a bit. Yep. And let's bring it down to the ground a bit more. Like that, bring it forward a bit. There we go. Now, if you render on this, which by the way, my render settings, go into it. They are 1080p. Basic, we've got it set to low. We've got denoising on. Hardware ray tracing is on. Inside denoising, we have denoiser set to optics, and then the bucket denoise set to 0, which is going to allow you to do that IPR faster. And render, it actually makes render time faster for bucket rendering. That's what I meant, bucket rendering faster, because it waits till the end to do the denoise rather than trying to denoise it while it renders. And then there's the GI is brute force is how I like it. And we'll go ahead and open that window back up. And it's done, it's not done, it's not done. It's freaking out. There it goes. It's taking a long time for the fog, I believe. And also the fact that there's about, 20,000 more objects on the scene than I need, than I needed to put in. But I think it's come a long way since the very beginning of nothing, and we ended up with something I'm pretty happy with. I kind of want to fix that haystack there that's kind of clipping into the ground. But I like it. Could always sit here and tweak it more, but I think it's looking good. Our pumpkins turned out well. I love low poly stuff. Sometimes it's more challenging to make things low poly than it is to make it like high poly. Wow. Am I gonna get to ban somebody? Here we go. Let's ban this bot. Click. Ooh, I can just put him in timeout. How about that? Timeout. Take that, bot. Now let's just report him. Perfect. I've reported them. That was fun. So it's gonna look really crappy, but as soon as it's gonna go, it's gonna do my little buckets down here. Now I have my bucket set to 512, and they're set in Hilbert rather than the standard spiral, because I did a bunch of tests with different bucket sizes and the ways, and Hilbert and this large bucket was the fastest render time. So I've always just stuck with Hilbert now. Or horizontal, not Hilbert, horizontal. Yeah. But yeah, there we go. So the denoise cleaned everything up quite a bit. It's looking pretty good. I'm happy with it. 2 minutes, it's way too long for that. Let's fix this haze bale, and then you really can't see any of my leaves. We'll fix it. Anyway, you could tweak it for forever, but Let's fix this hay bale real quick. Just kind of level it out. And we'll take these leaves and we'll go up with them. Well, nah, we can just click around and see if we like any more placement of the leaves. Seems a little off balance that way though. Just clicking through to get my leaves in a different spot. Oh well. Let's move the whole emitter. Let's get some more leaves in the foreground here. Like that. Still rotate it a bit. Nah, I don't need to though. I like it. Alright. Save. We can switch it to medium for like the final render. Or high even. Won't be that big a deal. But that's pretty much it. So cool thing is we can come in here with different cameras and stuff and, you know, do our tilt shift of our scene. You know, maybe do it like that. Redshift render view. Play. Click our scene here. You know, pretty cool. Alt, click and drag. There you go. You obviously change the colors and stuff like that. But yeah. I'm pretty happy with that. Go back to our other scene. And we can always do it without the fog too. If you think the fog is too much. We can change the color of the fog. Blah, blah, blah. Make it night. Do a lantern. You can always do a million things. But we're going to do this and we're going to say... No, I was going to say happy fall. And that's stupid. I don't need to do that. I think it's good. Let's just leave it. Leave it. Get the render time. Set to medium. And for this, we'll just do the IPR for now, for the end of the stream. But yeah. We did it. It's pretty cool. It's pretty good. I like it. We could make our water a little see-through if we wanted to with the transmission. Let's just play with that really quick. Real quick. Yep. I like that. So I just set it to 20. The scatter color is blue. I did that earlier, but now it actually looks pretty good. All right, I like it. I'm happy with it. I think it's come out pretty good. Again, Michael, thank you for the $5 very much. Thank you. All right, everybody. This has been, you know, I could do a tutorial on this probably. This is kind of the prompt. Quick thanks for all your tutorials before you go. As a newbie, C4D are invaluable. Thanks, Braden. I appreciate that a lot. Thank you very much. I hope they're helpful. There's more to come. I really would like to get, you know, the vibe or the feel out from people about how they like about live streams and stuff. You know, they're fun for me when I stop caring about making sure it's like perfect and just kind of chat and make stuff. I'm kind of happy with what we came up with, and we covered a lot of random things like all that. But if I wanted to do a tutorial on this course, like it'd probably take, you know, 30 minutes, you know, but this is kind of the process is you build it all out and then you cut it all down and do whatever. But the main purpose of this was that I didn't think it was a great idea and that it was going to be a flop, and it doesn't matter. It was something I wanted to do, and I really wanted to enforce and remind people that just creating stuff is fun, and I did enjoy it. I got nervous because I started thinking about the end result and the product and the feedback, and so even creating just the simple scene, I got nervous and started having imposter syndrome just because I started thinking, I'm not going to get good feedback, and that's going to mean there's no value in what I'm doing, and that's going to mean there's no value in me as an artist. And so it's just this, that happened, right? Just making the scene. Like if I had my priorities right, my mind right, you know, I'm just like, that was a fun scene. Okay, that was like playing with Legos for 2 hours, you know. And that's what 3D is. Like it's fun, and you have to remember that when you're doing stuff. And it's just tricky to. It's easy to get caught up in the end game and the rat race. So just really wanted to make sure that you guys know that the struggle is real, and you're not alone in struggling with that stuff, and that it's okay. It's okay to have bad days. It's okay to have good days. Every product's not going to be amazing. You're always going to look back at your stuff and be like, oh, why did I do that? I need to tweak that, or do this, or do that. You know, and that's okay. I'm just tweaking things for no reason. But be on the lookout. So thank you guys for sticking around. All of you that stuck around, all of you that dropped in, dropped out. Really appreciate it. Means a lot. Hopefully you learned something just seeing a lot. Okay, good. Thanks. Thank you, Nermeen. It has been worth it then. It's worth it even if no one learned anything, but that makes it a lot better. So thank you. So we've learned about the scatter tool. We covered a lot of stuff. Scatter tool, instances, displacement, polygon reduction, environments, twisting. What else did we do? Colors a little bit, not a ton, but pretty basic. But just low poly modeling in general is a lot, for sure. But yeah, pretty fun. The scatter tool is amazing. So definitely check that out. It's kind of easier to do the scatter tool sometimes than do like a cloner on the surface and stuff like that, which we could do, but we have way too much of our scene. Or really, we could have built this right here, like this section would have been enough, but instead I built all of this. So now I could have like multiple scenes, and I could fly through the forest and do all this stuff. Could do a push pull, all kinds of things. But fun. Be sure to be on the lookout for cloud tutorials that are coming up very soon, the cloud VDB pack and all this stuff again. Also, a new Skillshare course is coming out where these marbles are going to roll down this hill. It's going to look nice. We'll cover gobos, dynamics, modeling, materials, lighting, render, animations, looping, all the way through the export. We're actually going to learn how to make this gobo as well, so you can make your own gobos. And the cloud stuff also, like, let's see, let me show you another render here. There's like, it's like a spiral, if you couldn't tell, and these go down it and loop. But the cloud tutorial is coming out with all that stuff, and that's going to be on YouTube. The Skillshare course is going to be on Skillshare, maybe on my website. I got to figure out how to sell things. But we've just got lots of different clouds I've made in an island, and these will all be drag and drop entire clouds, different types, variations. There's a whale. I had fun with that one. Wispy clouds, dense clouds. Oh, this is an animation I did through the volumetric clouds. Kind of cool. This is what it, like, you don't see any of this stuff, so I have a million things that I erase. This is what it looked like before I added trees on the island. This is the water uptight. This is an uptight look at the lighthouse render. But yeah, nice and puffy. Probably cloudy. Just some nice scenes. It'll be pretty fun to make. So just drag and drop clouds. I think this is actually where, I don't know, they're in here somewhere. Yeah, like these. Yeah, they look good. Oh Lord, I was making storm clouds earlier. I'll post this as the thumbnail and stuff, but cool, sick, looking forward to those. Thanks Marble Rolling, can't wait to see it. Cool. Yeah, I could go on and on. Thank you all so much for watching. It's been a long chat, but these clouds are gonna be cool, and I'll show you how to make these, how to make them procedural, and so you can just change the seed, change up the entire look, the way, how noisy it is, how cloudy it is, everything. So be sure to ring that bell and all that YouTube crap for that. But yeah, I mean, show you how to light it and do the VDVs and stuff. It's all super nice. No problem, Kostya. Thank you. Thank you, thank you. Thank you all for watching. You see it's gonna loop. That's not looping, but it will loop. I have to do the right camera. This loops. It's kind of a trick. So neat. Pretty cool. Constant conveyor belt or spiral of balls. We'll cover how to do that. Make your own materials, tweak it, make your own, do it at the field. All that stuff, because there's a lot that's changed in Cinema 4D and Redshift. This is C4D 2023. Obviously, it's very different UI from like R20, anything before R26, and then Redshift's changed a lot, so there's new materials and stuff. So all the stuff out there is still relevant, but it doesn't look the same. So it's tough to learn it all. So I want to make sure we get a good intro to Cinema 4D Redshift course. So I'm going to teach this course with the idea of, you know, you don't know how to make anything really, and you'll learn it all. Like Olympics, we're going to bake Olympics, do all this and stuff. So it's going to be a lot. But yeah, thank you all for watching. Again, I don't know what happened with that scatter tool there, but yes, here we go. This is what we've come up with. Thank you all again. See you all next time, I guess. Bye. Actually, I should probably ask questions. Any questions? It's a long one, but there's hopefully some stuff in there. The video's really gotten really far behind. I'll type it in the chat so it's faster. Luckily the chat's pretty instant, so. I think we're good. Alright, y'all. I need to play some video games. That was fun. Thank you guys. You guys are the reason I do this stuff. The reason I pushed through and made it to the end. I like what we came up with. I'm happy with it. You could always use some tweaking, but for 2 hours, while talking, while doing it, and the pressure of trying to get it done really fast, it turned out all right. But yeah. All right, guys. Thanks again. See y'all next time. Later.